Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today is Wednesday, March 31st. So that was the new intro, guys. I hope you liked it. I like it a lot. I might change it up over the next, little while. We'll see. But so I will start with the date as I record each day, and then we'll talk about any pertinent information that I may have throughout. I can already tell you this is going to help my dog. She seems to be freaking out a little bit less, which is awesome. So, yeah. Okay, so today was another, alarmingly busy day for the royals. I'm thoroughly shocked. Here I was thinking that it was going to be a really quiet week, and it is just not. It is pretty busy. I do kind of stand by tomorrow is going to be lighter. However, there are still things scheduled tomorrow. So we will have a Friday episode. I'm pretty sure it'll be mostly monarchies I don't cover. I want to try and get through some today, and then do a few more tomorrow. And on Sunday, we're going to primarily talk about the Vatican monarchy and what that's like. So that'll be the episode that you hear on Monday, because there's not going to be a lot of events this weekend. A lot of the Easter greetings have already been done. I expect that there might be some. And I was going to go through, Easter traditions of the royal family. However, there aren't that many for the 7 royal families. There are 3 families who have, traditional annual events, but they're not super well documented. So, we're going to talk about any Easter greetings we get and stuff on the episode you hear on Monday. And, yeah, so I think we're going to just continue as normal throughout this week and into next, although I expect next week to be kind of quiet too, as it looks like some other royal families are going on a week-long break next week. So anyway, we are going to jump right in with the Belgian royal family for today. Yet again, 2 events for the Belgian royal family. I do think, however, that they are done for the week. Watch me say that, but I said that 2 days ago, and then there were pop-up events today. It's just been a weird week, because I'm also battling the fact that events are always unscheduled if they're in person for the most part. Sometimes they're put up the night before, there's an event tomorrow in the Netherlands that was put up this evening. So it's just weird. It's hard right now, and so I keep thinking things are done, and then there's more pop-up events. So anyway, in Belgium today, that's yesterday's script that I was trying to read you guys just now. Sorry, let's try again. Okay, so King Philippe held an audience with the foreign minister of Belgium. So the foreign minister is Sophie Wilms, who used to be the caretaking prime minister while Belgium was forming a government that took 2 years to form. What a process. So, unsure of what they discussed. They never say, but they met today. And then also today, Queen Mathilde visited a solidarity project at the University of Namur. And this project is distributing food. So it's a solidarity grocery store, which seems like a better way of phrasing a food bank. I much appreciate this term. and it's for the students that are living in vulnerable situations, both financially but also mentally, because COVID is super destructive on people. It's weird. I think, so I'll talk about this a little bit. Because I'm having an off day too. I am both guided very much by like the sun. So if there's sun shining and it's warmer, my mental health is way better than on darker and gloomy days. And today was a really dark and gloomy day. And because I spend all of my time outside, like I'm very much affected. I very much notice the weather. Technically, I'm in my car, but my car is outside. So I very much like, if it's sunny, I'm feeling really good. Or if I'm, if it's not and it's gray or gloomy like it was today, and today was kind of cold, it's just harder to have a good mental health day for me. And especially in these times, because like one of the things that I like to do in more not great mental health is like, I want to go do things, even if it's just going shopping. I actually hate shopping, but like even if it's just running to Target, I like Target, then like I'll do that. But I don't go places I don't need to go because there's a pandemic. And so like I get more caught in a spiral of like, I want to go do something, but I can't because there's a pandemic and it's dark and gloomy outside, and it's just like bad. And so, and I'm in my late 20s, like I'm nearing 30 at this point. So to be a college student, I can't even imagine going through that. And then potentially, not really being able to work, because one, there aren't enough jobs, but two, like some schools are having extremely strict processes about COVID and like working and going to classes in person and things like that. It's just, I can't even imagine. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it. So I really like this event. I really like the point of it. I like that they're not calling it like a food pantry or a food bank. They're calling it a solidarity grocery store. I just think is lovely. So that is what is going on in Belgium. It was really like, there wasn't a lot of details from the events today, which is fine. And they were unscheduled. So I don't know. It's also really interesting. So at the end of every month, I do engagement counts. So I know like what day, like the amount of events that each royal family had. And Belgium this month had so many. Like I have today's counts included, and you can check all of these numbers out for all the royal families tomorrow on thedailyroyal.com. I'll have them all up. But like King Philippe had almost 30 events and Queen Mathilde had 17. They had the most events of, like, King Philippe had the most events of almost any of any head of state. He had the most. They, as like a duo in terms of like comparing apples to apples, had also the most to what I consider like their counterparts, because the smaller royal families, so like King Philippe and Queen Mathilde are a duo. King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima are a duo. Like I don't count their children because they're children. And then King Felipe and Queen Letizia are like the other, like I just compared those three as when I think of the same. And Philippe and Mathilde this month had the most. So that's always really interesting. And please check out those numbers tomorrow, thedailyroyal.com, because one, it's like, I really like comparing numbers like that. And of course I have the whole spreadsheet so I can see like all the details, but I try and give as much information on the post as I can. So that is Belgium, and now we are going to move on to the UK. In the UK today, public facing, there was one event. However, it's a really exciting singular event. Today, Queen Elizabeth held her first out of the palace engagement of 2021. It's almost April, and we have not seen her in person since 2020. And it was like September or something. It's been 6 months. And look, I get it. Protect her. She's almost 95. I understand. However, I love when she makes public appearances, and because like she just hasn't had that many, it's always really exciting. So today she attended the 100th anniversary celebrations for the Australian Air Force. So quick refresher, Queen Elizabeth is the Queen of Australia. They utilize her as the head of state. I think she is on their money. And so I don't know that she like holds the commander-in-chief title of the Australian Armed Forces, but she may. But like her role as head of state is really important. And so the Australian Air Force is celebrating its 100th anniversary. And so there was a ceremony at the Commonwealth Cemetery in Runnymede. I am sure I'm not saying that right. So the service included a prayer for the soldiers who gave their life to the cause, I guess, as well as a wreath laying ceremony where a wreath was laid on behalf of Queen Elizabeth. And it was, I don't know, I think a lot of it is getting caught up, and of course it is, in the fact that it's Elizabeth's first, like, engagement outside of Windsor, in a really long time. And so, like, that, I mean, that has been lovely. But the event itself, like, the royal family Twitter account was promoting the 100th anniversary. Like, they really wanted to draw attention to this. There were no other events happening. There were some behind the scenes things, but like for the most part, this day was solely supposed to be about the Australian Air Force. So that was the public event. And then on the court circular, we'll go through that really quickly here. With the Queen at Windsor Castle, it was the events in relation to the ceremony. They still have it wrong. The Sunday Times, the London Times the Times of London got the date wrong. They put the court circular for April 1st of 2021, which is when it was released, but it's March 31st events. Okay, so yeah, the Queen this morning marked the centenary of the Royal Australian Air Force at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, Runnymede Air Force's Memorial. She was accompanied by several high-level officials. There was a fly past. And then also this evening, Boris Johnson and Her Majesty held a telephone audience. which happens every Wednesday. And then we get to Kensington Palace, and the Duke of Cambridge had 2 NHS phone calls. So he's been making these phone calls every week. He, I think, has the highest engagement count of like anyone. Yeah. But it's because the court circular lists each of his phone calls separately. So like there will be days where he has quote unquote 6 events, but they're 6 phone calls. So that is what was going on in the UK. I do expect them to quiet down. There may be some things tomorrow for, I want to make sure I get the name of this right, for Maundy Thursday, which is the Thursday before Easter. And that is typically a day that is pretty important in the British royal family in terms of Easter celebrations, but because of a pandemic, that's not really happening. So, but I don't know if there will be anything tomorrow released or not. But there very well could be, but I think this was the night of the, Thursday is the night of the Last Supper. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't practice a religion. I'm not religious. I know religion. I understand religion. But I don't know all the ins and outs of like why things are called what they are. So I like to look it up to make sure I'm not getting it wrong. So there could be some things tomorrow, but we'll see. So that is what was going on in the UK. And now we are going to move on to the Danish royal family. Today, 4 new photos were released of Queen Margrethe, Crown Prince Frederik, Crown Princess Mary, and Frederick and Mary's children. I'm not going to name them all because that's a lot of names. No. Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, Prince Vincent, and Princess Josephine. Also, sometimes I forget their birth order, so that's why I'm like, wait, let me make sure. No, I will always name them, even though sometimes it's a hassle. They just have a lot of children, and I love them, but like, there's a lot of them. It is very typical for them to all spend Easter together. Last year, of course, that did not happen, because we were in the early parts of a pandemic. And so Queen Margrethe painted her own Easter eggs, which was, I kind of remember this video and it made me really sad. Especially seeing the photos released today, like, it just seems much more fulfilling if you were used to spending Easter with your family, like, and you're of a certain age, I would imagine, and have certain traditions, like, I would imagine that changing those are extremely difficult. So this year it was just kind of lovely. They did very similar, painted eggs, which is the thing. And they just sent a nice little Easter greeting, which I think literally said, like, we wish you a happy Easter. But just the fact of, like, seeing them all together. So I don't know Denmark's situation. I know Queen Margrethe is vaccinated. And I know in the US, the CDC has said if you are vaccinated, you can spend time with healthy children and grandchildren. So I'm assuming that this falls within Denmark's guidelines as well, because I can't imagine the Danish royal family breaking regulation to spend time together. So, I don't know, it was just kind of lovely. And I know we've seen Margrethe with Frederick And I think she's been at an event with Frederick and Mary, maybe a couple of events. But it was just really nice seeing her with her grandchildren. Of course, we don't know what happens privately, but like publicly, they haven't been seen together since probably Margaretha's birthday in 2019. Yeah, it could very well be that, at least to my knowledge. So it was just lovely, and the pictures are fun and springy, and it seems like spring is finally coming to Denmark, which, is lovely for them. I'm so glad. Denmark is always kind of cold and dark, and so having some spring weather is, of course, very nice. So that is what was going on in Denmark. I think we have things in the Netherlands too. We do. So let's go over to the Dutch royal family. In the Netherlands today, King Willem-Alexander had two different events. First, he sent a video message to the Four Freedoms Award, which is an award that promotes individuals or recognizes individuals who have contributed through their work or through their acts, contributed to a freer society. That's pretty much what the press release for the event said, so that's what I know. This is one thing I didn't do a ton of research on. I don't know if it's international or just specific to the Netherlands. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it'll link to things and I just don't think it did this time around. So that's the information I have. I just didn't do a deep dive on it because there wasn't a lot going on there. Okay, so that was King Willem-Alexander's first event. Then he also held a digital working visit to NL, which is like the acronym for the Netherlands. So NL, for each other, I think. I translated this one myself. It makes sense for it to be this. Like, it makes a lot of sense for it to be this. But my Dutch is not very good. So I have noticed occasionally when, not so much when King Willem-Alexander speaks, but like every now and then when Queen Maxima speaks Dutch, I can pick up on words here or there. So like I'm pretty confident in this translation of NL, for each other, because I don't know what else it could be. But it's an online community that it's like an online volunteer platform. So it partners people with volunteer opportunities throughout the Netherlands using an online service. So instead of having to seek out volunteer opportunities and not really knowing how to do that, you can do it through NL, for each other, and it'll partner you with organizations that need your specific set of skills. So I'm trying to think of like really off the wall kind of things. If you're like an accounting student, it can partner you with organizations who need some accounting tasks done. Or if you're a painter, here are organizations that need you to go and paint houses or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, this is just kind of like assumptions, but I think it's a really cool idea to partner people that are looking to do specific things with specific organizations that need help with those specific things. I just think that's a really cool way of doing that. So those were Willem Alexander's events today. Queen Maxima has something scheduled for tomorrow. To my knowledge, this is the only event tomorrow. It may not be, but to my knowledge, it's the only one that's happening tomorrow. So with that, we are going to go ahead and move on to Spain now. In Spain today, there was one event, and they haven't added anything to the calendar now. So I think today was it. They have added to the calendar for next week a few days early. So this makes me think that like Casa Real is going on vacation this week, like tomorrow and Friday and possibly Monday, because they don't return until Wednesday, I think. Okay, now I don't remember. So today, King Felipe presided over essentially the swearing in of 3 of the new government ministers. Except really it's just mostly a shuffle, and there was one new minister. So there's this thing happening in Spain that is basically like a political chaos show. So a lot of the autonomous communities in Spain are either holding elections or their governments are breaking apart because of I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Basically conflict between the more right-winged parties. I just called them Republican. Sorry, they are not Republican, but right-winged parties. It's bad. And so Madrid is one of these communities that is going to be holding elections in a month to basically reestablish the control that the People's Party, it's not the People's Party, it's the Partido Popular, which is the Popular Party, has in Madrid. However, one of the government ministers has decided to run for president of Madrid. And so that has created a little bit of a change up in the federal government as well. So the former, now second vice president, is running for president of the Community of Madrid. And so he had to be replaced. He was replaced by the third vice president, who moved up to be second vice president today. And then she was replaced by the Minister of Social Rights and Agenda 2030, that woman is now the third vice president, and then we brought in a new Minister for Social Rights and Agenda 2030. And here's something that is really cool. Spain now has more women in their minister roles than men. It's awesome. So before they were equal, and then when the second vice president left to go run for president of Madrid, he was a man and was replaced by a woman. So it is now majority women, which is really cool. And I think Spain is like the 6th country in the world to do that, and the 4th in the EU or something crazy. Like, it's awesome. It's so cool. So it's a very big deal. It was just really cool to see, when King Felipe went over to take, the group picture, he was accompanied by the Prime Minister, but, it was just all women, and it was awesome. And there are some, like, much weirder politics around this than what I'm giving it, but this is not a political podcast. I'm not a Spanish political aficionado. That's not, like, my area. I love Spanish politics. They're really interesting to me. So I do know a lot about them, but, like, that's not typically my area. So that's what was going on in Spain today. Like I said, I think they have gone on vacation officially. At least I hope, because my gosh, they need it. No, they didn't. No, King Felipe has an event on Friday. No, King Felipe has an event on Saturday. Okay. That's even more shocking to me. Okay. Yeah, so he has an event on Saturday, which means we'll have a couple of things to talk about on the episode on Sunday. So anyway, that is what was going on in Spain, and we will talk more about them over the weekend, because of course we will, because they're just working. Okay, so with that, we are going to quickly move on to the Swedish royal family now. There wasn't a lot going on in Sweden today. However, Prince Daniel took part in a digital meeting with the Prince Daniel Fellowship. So that was really the only thing going on in Sweden. However, yet again, while this one wasn't as rambly, I knew it was a potential that there would be a lot of events, like a lot of talking through the events that happened today. So we are not going to cover any of the monarchies that I don't talk about today. We'll cover a lot of them tomorrow, because I'm really thinking there won't be a lot of events. However, if there are and we can't cover, there are 12 left. So if we can't cover 6 of them tomorrow, then I'll split it up, and we'll do 5 and 5. And I'll have a Saturday episode. Like, we'll do something that works, and then Sunday will be purely dedicated to talking about the Vatican and the events that happen over the weekend. So that's where we're at there. That's where we're headed. So yeah, I will talk to you all in what will for sure be a Friday episode. Please enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Check out all the places, thedailyroyal.com. Remember, engagement counts come up tomorrow. I'm hoping to have them done tonight, so they'll post my time probably around noon, lunchtime tomorrow for me. If you're in Europe, that's like 6 p.m. Or yeah, and if you're in Asia, it's like the following morning. My dog says goodbye. Please have a great great Thursday. I don't know what day it is. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.